Did Bang Si Hyuk personally try to stop NJZ's performance from happening? But what in the world is going on with Keeho's mother? Did Starship's new girl group KiiKii copy NJZ? And so much more in today's episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with me, Angelina. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. So if you're interested, please whoa, we just went through that. But while you're here, go subscribe to my second channel where we do fun things like live streaming, gaming, and all of that jazz. And without where's my stress ball? And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Before we get started, yes, I know I'm literally wearing a light gray sweater. Write this down in your history books. Mark your calendars for this Wednesday, February 19th, because what? Moving on. Okay, so we do have some NJZ news today, starting off with NewJeans parents releasing a new statement, or NewJeans, NJZ underscore, oh my God, NewJeans / NJZ parents wrote out another statement wherein they mentioned Bang Si Hyuk allegedly trying to stop NewJeans' performance at ComplexCon. Now, this is indeed a very, very lengthy statement. We're gonna go through it quite briefly. I don't think I have it in me to read the whole damn thing, but I digress. Starting off, this morning we saw 5 organizations: Korea Entertainment Management Association, Korea Entertainment Producers Association, Korea Music Label Industry Association, Korea Record Industry Association, and Korea Music Content Association issued their statement to the media. Despite having full knowledge that neither the preliminary injunction nor the trial has begun, they're making statements that undermine the objectivity of the trial and by presenting unconfirmed information as facts. This is truly regrettable. As always, we ask for your understanding in advance that this may be a lengthy message, since there are few channels that artists can use to express their positions compared to companies who can freely use major media outlets and various associations. I guess we are kind of reading. Essentially, these 5 organizations that we've heard of, some of those organizations before, basically condemning what NJZ has done, what NJZ / NewJeans have done. And some of them have brought up the issue that if an artist can just unilaterally end their contracts, what does that mean for the integrity of said contracts? What does that mean for companies in the future if an artist can just basically up and leave and decide this, unilaterally? We've heard that from a couple of these associations in the past. But anyways, they're basically claiming that these 5 organizations are claiming that NJZ members are attempting to resolve a private dispute by involving public opinion and unilateral statements rather than holding negotiations or through legal procedures. However, we believe the public surely will remember which side first started a media campaign publicly spreading false allegations to remove former Adore CEO Min Hee-jin, who was simply trying to address the major issues within HYBE. At the time, HYBE both purposely created and turned a blind eye to the plethora of articles related to the accusations of tampering or gaslighting about NJZ. We believe everyone will also remember the media frenzy that started less than 1 week before their company comeback. This is something no company would do 1 week before their artist comeback. We would like to ask where these music organizations were and what they were doing at that time. If we all remember, this actually did start right before, I believe, Bubblegum, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just saying that by memory. But now we get to point number 2, which is in line with what I was saying, that some of these organizations were condemning NJZ / NewJeans for what they've done, for quote unquote unilaterally ending their contracts and what that would mean for the future of the music industry, essentially. So they go on to say the 5 music organizations also claimed that the entire K-pop industry is suffering due to the private dispute that unilaterally became public, turning into a controversy. However, we believe the victims of this one-sided media coverage are the NJZ members, their fans, and the public who loves music. The damage still continues today. Furthermore, HYBE stock prices decline and other damages are their problem, not the entire K-pop industries. This confirms these organizations are representing the interests of a specific company while presenting themselves as an organization for all. Now, they do end up agreeing with an aspect of what these 5 organizations have said in point number 3. So the 5 music organizations claim that baseless allegations can be accepted as truths without proper fact-checking, chance for rebuttal, or criticism, and thus can take over portal sites, online communities, and social media for a long time. This is the only section of their statement that is actually correct. Numerous false statements about the NJZ members have taken over online communities, and even now, the media publishes articles that reflect HYBE's interests. At the same time, cyber record channels are spreading their opinions as if they were the experts. I'm just reminded of people being like, you're a Twitter lawyer and you're wrong. Anyways, at the same time, It is heartbreaking to see how the celebrities themselves cannot stop this or defend themselves. We believe this is the lethargy regarding these music organizations that many involved in the entertainment industry, artist trainees, and their families notice. Point number 4 is basically discussing what a lot of you bring up in the comments all the time. How can NJZ say that their contracts are terminated? How can you just say that a contract is terminated and not like go through the legal proceedings to terminate said contract? Or, again, the whole unilaterally ending your contract by just saying that it's ended. So moving on to point number 4, the 5 organizations have criticized the NJZ members for proceeding with their individual activities despite not having their exclusive contract with the door legally terminated. They argue that if such contracts can be broken unilaterally, the entire foundation of the K-pop industry, we talked about that, remember? Would collapse. Yes, would collapse. However, we believe this claim is misleading and is only to deceive the public. From the family's perspective, as people who have watched over their children since they were all minors and trainees, we must emphasize that there has never been an organization or venue for trainees and artists to voice their complaints and seek protection when they face mistreatment or the company breaches the contract. I believe that's what they had mentioned for the reason of terminating their contract, that it had been breached. So we're done. It's over now. These people have no choice but to solely rely on the company's morality and thus are in a situation where their basic rights aren't protected. From the members' viewpoint, it is contradictory for these organizations to take sides and argue about the potential instability of the industry when in reality, they advocate for company profits. The members have mustered the courage to speak up and take legal action despite the difficult situation. We urge the organizations to reflect on their inconsistencies. Point number 5 is talking about HYBE versus NJZ, how HYBE is seemingly trying to take down NJZ. They bring in the Dolphiners situation, which was basically, the whole Panisu channel with Dolphiners saying HYBE wanted, or Adore rather, wanted us to take down content. Adore being like, no, we didn't want you to take down the whole channel or anything, just one specific thing that had to do with the brand deal. And Dolphiners being like, why would I lie about like deleting my work? And also claims of HYBE trying to restrict NJZ. As many people know, HYBE has publicly discriminated against, attacked, and tried to take down the NJZ members, while Adore, a HYBE subsidiary, had neither the will nor capability to prevent this from happening. Just to bring up a previous issue that we did end up talking about, there was a specific thing about a journalist basically writing about NewJeans' success in Japan, and then a HYBE PR person allegedly calling this journalist to correct some information, and also kind of saying, well, actually, they didn't really sell as much as we thought they sold. In fact, as we have seen the situation regarding Dolphiners' film, they even went as far as trying to take down the base of NewJeans' career, their content. As a result, NJZ were left with no other choice but to terminate their contracts, as they could no longer endure what was happening to them. Legally, the contract termination goes into effect immediately, meaning their contracts with Adore no longer exist. And I remember when they said that their contracts no longer existed, they did say they will continue out the rest of their scheduled promotions under Adore despite this. Therefore, the members were no longer bound to Adore and were free to pursue their own activities. This is a simple principle of Korea's legal system. The fact that HYBE and Adore are now pushing for legislative amendments right before the trial clearly demonstrate both how unreasonable and unconvincing their claims are. The statement shared by the 5 organizations today also raises concern that they are not only trying to excessively restrict the individual rights of artists, but also are trying to find ways to impose an invisible form of legalized violence. Their claims make it sound like the entire K-pop industry would collapse if contracts are not enforced like slave contracts. Another criticism of these companies were condemning NewJeans, basically saying, if you can just, again, unilaterally end your contract, what does that mean for the future of companies? But a rebuttal to that I've seen a lot of people say are basically like, well, what about artists' rights? When an artist wants to end a contract, it's like the end of the world. It's so difficult. Even if the company is guilty, even if the company is severely mistreating them, it seems to be brushed under the rug. Even if you go through the legal means of trying to end the contract, sometimes it does not work in your favor, and the company is heavily prioritized in that situation. We've seen it time and time again, correct? Correct. Right? So that's definitely something that a lot of people have brought up, and we're seeing being brought up here. What about the exploitation? Continuing on. The fundamental issue of this dispute is between an agency that mistreated its artists and the artist themselves. It does not impact the entire K-pop industry. In fact, we believe the members' courage can set a new precedent for a healthier industry filled with a more diverse range of artists. It is with great regret that these organizations frame initial investment as a form of debt and take a one-sided stance on that issue. Trainees dedicated their youth and life to the life of an artist. The concept of good faith is something that should apply to both parties in a contract, not just one. We hope this situation will serve as an opportunity for young artists and trainees who should be spending their brightest years pursuing their dreams and their fans to no longer feel they have to be victim to the exploitation while certain people avoid their responsibilities to pursue personal interests. Point number 6 brings up some ethical questions regarding specific journalists, notably the 5 organizations who released the statement, who are also planning a press conference, it seems. Point number 6 is pointing out where they're even having this press conference, and that, quote, "We were told that they were even offered lunch. Given that lunch at the hotel costs at least around 69 USD per person, we couldn't help but wonder if the journalists would be able to attend without violating the Kim Yong-ran Act, an anti-bribery law that states public officials such as journalists cannot accept gifts worth over 34 USD. We also question whether such a bold attempt to try to influence the media is even possible. These 5 organizations didn't just release their statement in the morning, but also gained the same exact content at 1 p.m. What is the point of sending out the same statements twice in a day without any modifications? Isn't this just media manipulation? We respectfully ask that these 5 organizations stop trying to sway public opinion by representing the interests of a particular company, which they stated through their statements. For the sustainable growth of the K-pop industry, is it critical to correct the mistakes made by agencies that see their artists solely as money-making tools? This is an issue that should be resolved through legal procedures. So point number 7 brings up the whole accusation that Bang Si Hyuk personally tried to get their Complex Con performance to be stopped. So they're saying a Complex Con official who had been assisting with the concert preparations had told them that Bang Si Hyuk had personally called industry contacts to pressure them to cancel NJZ's appearance at Complex Con, which is where they're set to perform new songs. Continuing on, would it be too much of a stretch to connect today's statements to that? We find it incredibly infuriating and angering. It made us realize how HYBE continues to see NJZ as moneymakers rather than supporting and celebrating their successes. They're focused on blocking them and destroying them instead. Since then, we have been told that Adore have also been interfering with NJZ. Bang Si Hyuk, back in April 2024, we sent you an email and requested a response. To this day, you have not replied. If you have so much to say, why not speak with us instead of other people? We also fail to understand why the chairman of HYBE is directly getting involved in a dispute that supposedly only involves Adore. Can we really believe you when you argue that Adore and HYBE are separate entities? So they basically end this off by saying that they will continue their performance at Complex Con in Hong Kong, and that despite HYBE or Adore's attempts to stop them, is still gonna happen. With all that said, Adore has actually responded. And Adore is specifically responding to the claim that Bang Si Hyuk was calling industry insiders to pressure Complex Con to drop NewJeans, or to stop the NewJeans performance, the NJZ performance. Adore has never attempted to get NewJeans Hong Kong performance cancelled. We have also confirmed that Chairman Bang Si Hyuk has never contacted anyone at all about NewJeans Hong Kong performance. Just as we have previously requested to the domestic media, Adore requested that the organizers use the official group name NewJeans, and we also requested that, based on NewJeans' exclusive contract, the organizers work with Adore as they move forward with the performance. So it seems, according to Adore, they did contact Hong Kong Complex Con, but only to ask that they use the name NewJeans rather than NJZ. That's what I'm understanding from this, not that they wanted to stop the performance, it seems. But that is where we are with our most recent NewJeans update. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, let's talk about P1Harmony's Keeho. Now, I know he has a brother in 82 Major, Yetan, and given the fact that this has to do with their mother, I mean, theoretically, it should have to do with both of them, because it's both of their one mother, there's just one mother. It seems like Keeho is majoritarily the one being brought into this whole thing. So a bit of a backstory. Basically, his mother was accused of fraud. So the person accusing his mother of fraud basically claimed that she owed him like over $700,000. And this man is, also claims that he helped so many other people. So by him not having that $700,000, her actions also impact all the people that he usually helped. He also claimed that she swore on her son's names that she would repay him the $700,000. I mean, over $700,000. 1.1 billion Korean won, which is around 761,000 USD. So this happened quite a while ago, actually. This was, being talked about on forums, but it's being brought up again because the man part of this lawsuit released a really long statement talking about the lawsuit, bringing it up again, and also bringing up Keeho, where he accuses Keeho of offering him $200,000 to stop mentioning his name. So the man in his statement is, let me find the statement again. We're not going to read the whole thing. So in regards to Keeho offering him $200,000, this is what he said. I heard that you offered to pay me 300 million Korean won that your mother owes me, but that in return you don't want me to mention your name anymore because it has been difficult for you. People say children are mere reflections of their parents. That seems to be the case indeed. Like, he goes on to say, you want to pay me $200,000, but your mom owes me $700,000. So that's like she owes me way more than that. But in this whole statement, he's like speaking directly to Keeho. Keeho, I have 2 daughters too. I often wonder if I ever promise anything and swear on my children. Again, he's claiming that his mother swore on Keeho and Yechan that she would pay him back. If I ever promise anything and swear my children, what would I do? I would keep the promise. Even if it means I have to pay it back by death and the life insurance payout, I would not regret it. I heard you said that you wanted to handle things yourself because you're struggling with all the social media backlash, but do you have any idea what it has been like for me and my family for the past 2 years while you were getting famous and tasting success? I've written down about 8 pages of what we went through. Had you any sense of reason, you would know to consider all the pain and suffering, both mentally and financially, that we endured. But no, you would rather wire the money I lent to your mother on the condition that I don't talk about you anymore. You must really think I'm a pushover. I mean, this man goes on to say that he reached out to Keeho's uncle in Toronto, that this uncle in Toronto ended up blocking him, that the mother cut off contact with him as well, and that because of all of this, that his company went under. It seems that he had a movie that he was funding and he didn't have enough money to fund the movie because of the mother owing him so much money. The film I produced failed. I lost my home. I lost a business deal that I worked really hard on. My entire family was buried in debt. We were harassed endlessly by creditors. Tell me, what was I supposed to do? And from what I understand, this is being handled through legal means, right? Because he's even saying, during the last cross-examination, I thought that at the very least you would apologize to me. But for 3 hours we were there, all I heard were excuses, lies, and complaints about how your children were suffering because of me. He also accuses the mother of, lying about him, that she said that he threatened her. It was a whole thing, correct? But another thing that people were really discussing in all of this is that this man claims that the mother's lawyer is actually an FNC lawyer. So P1Harmony is under FNC Entertainment. Keeho is under FNC Entertainment. So there was this accusation that Keeho was covering for his mother by having the company that he's under appoint a lawyer to her. So people were heavily discussing that as well. I mean, the backlash surrounding this, I'll put it in 2 camps. There were people who were saying that him and his mother and his whole family were scammers, that they were trying to silence a victim, that he should leave the group because of all of this. And then, of course, there are people saying, why should he have to suffer for what his mother did? This is his mother's issue. They really need to leave Keeho out of this. People even bringing up the alleged offer of $200,000. If you're offered the $200,000 and you're saying no to that, then that's fishy. So there was those 2 camps of people. People are either saying they're all scammers, he needs to leave the group because of this, they're silencing victims, and then no, leave him alone. He has nothing. It's his mother's issue. That's not on him. So after all this discussion, it seems that FNC released a statement regarding this, basically saying that Keeho has nothing to do with this. We would like to provide an explanation regarding a situation involving the family of one of our artists, of course, Keeho's mother, the lawsuit, the accusations of fraud, and so on. The incident concerning Keeho's mother was reported to the police last year, and after an investigation, the case was closed with the decision of no charges. However, we learned that a reinvestigation has recently begun following the victim's appeal. Keeho is completely unrelated to this incident and was entirely unaware of how the situation had been handled up until now. Despite this, Keeho's name has been mentioned multiple times on the victim's social media. Regarding this, the victim has since clarified the misunderstanding and expressed an apology to the artist. However, if the investigation reveals any wrongdoing on the part of Keeho's mother, she will, of course, take full legal responsibility. Separately, as a son, Keeho feels deep regret towards the affected party and will do his utmost to help resolve the matter. As this case is currently under investigation, we earnestly request that people refrain from malicious slander, indiscriminate personal attacks, or the spread of unfounded rumors about the artist. We sincerely apologize for causing concern to many due to an issue involving the family of one of our artists. So with that said, it does seem that the man who made the accusation, who filed the lawsuit, released a final statement in regards to this, still mentioning Keeho, but saying he won't mention him again. So here's the story. Are we going to read we'll read a little bit of it. Dear Keeho, I heard from my lawyer about what you conveyed through your lawyer a few days ago, and it seems I reacted too emotionally without taking the time to think it through. Upon reflection, I've realized that even though you couldn't possibly know much about the situation, you sincerely apologized and expressed your intent to find a solution for the damage, which I misunderstood. I now feel deeply sorry for how I reacted. The truth is, even though you're not involved in this matter, I was only thinking of my own position. Once again, I'm sorry that you had to apologize to me and put in the effort to resolve this issue despite not having anything to do with it. And I'm so thankful for it. He goes on to say, this isn't a you issue. It's an issue involving the adults, his mother. In his frustration, he kept mentioning Keeho's name. As a father myself, I understand that nothing could be more heartbreaking and unfair than seeing your child suffer because of something related to your own issues. And in my frustration, I think I used your name more than I should have. Moving forward, there will be no more mention of your name regarding this matter, and I hope you won't have to suffer any harm because of it. He ends off by saying that he supported him since his debut and wishes him and his brother the best. Quite interesting, right? Like, it's Yetan and Keeho's brother, but it's like Keeho, like the other statement was just like Keeho specifically. But yeah, I guess that's the conclusion to this story, ? I'll of course update you if there's anything else, but I think that might be it. Let's move on to, drumroll please, Fanware Friday. Yes, I'm sure you guys all know that Starship's new girl group KiiKii have debuted, or they kind of debuted out of nowhere, who else debuted out of nowhere, huh? Literally, NewJeans. Oh my god, yes, this is a NewJeans x KiiKii Fanware Friday edition. That made no sense, but you get the gist, right? So as usual, we're just gonna look at this fan war in its natural habitat from far. We're not participating in this fan war, okay? That's the beauty of Fan War Friday. We're just gonna look at other people, make comparisons. I mean, I'm sure, I guess we could share our thoughts. I guess that's not really looking at it in its natural habitat if we comment on it, but that's the nature of Fan War Friday. It's never on Fridays, and we're never really that well prepared. But anyways, KiiKii made their debut, and wouldn't you know, it's being compared to NewJeans. People saying, no wonder NewJeans is trying to change their concept because everyone is copying them now, to other people being like, Minhyejin ruined K-pop because people can't do anything anymore without being compared to NewJeans. So let's just take a look at some of these tweets. So some people are kind of comparing this like dress up concept that KiiKii did to NewJeans in their debut era. So here's the comparison, just like a dress up game for KiiKii versus, pick my outfits for NewJeans. Let's just accept the influences there. Here again, attention, pick my outfit, and then KiiKii. NewJeans.kr and phoning, you will always be the standard. Here's phoning. Pick my outfits. Oh, there's no comparison here. Never mind. Ox. Here's NewJeans. KiiKii. Is that KiiKii? Girl, I thought they had a weird concept. This is just NJZ nachos. I've seen a lot of tweets basically saying NJZ nachos. Because of course KiiKii's debut picture, or their concept pictures, right, were quite weird. So I think people were expecting something weird, but then it ended up being, more in line with what 5th gen is. And then random debut without concept photos. I've seen this movie before. So how they just kind of like released a music video out of nowhere. People are comparing them to NewJeans. But to be fair, they did have concept pictures. Do we not remember like that mohawk with KiiKii like spray painted on it? I mean, they didn't come out of nowhere. It was announced that KiiKii would debut Starship's new girl group. They had concept pictures. They had a lot of concept pictures, but they did release the music video kind of out of nowhere without an announcement, it seems. But I mean, what do you make of this? What do you think of this? Because of course, on one hand, you have people literally saying that every group being debuted these days is inherently like NewJeans, that they are copying NewJeans, pointing out like to be fair, I've seen some like KiiKii pictures where there's like bunny imagery and people be like, that's so NewJeans. But it's like, is it just because you think you associate bunnies with NewJeans? Because like bunnies probably existed before NewJeans. I'm not sure. And then on the other hand, you have people being like, literally, I already said this quote, Minhyejin ruined K-pop because now people can't do anything without being compared to NewJeans. But that is essentially our Fanware Friday. Again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know. Which side are you on? You have to pick a side, by the way. I'm kidding. So let's move on to Kpop Shenanigans, which are basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop recently. And or quick news. That I like messed that up, like the intro, but it's fine. Here we are. J-Hope has donated 200 million won, which is about 138,000 USD, to the Asan Medical Center in Seoul. The funds will improve facilities and medical care for pediatric and adolescent patients, as well as support research into rare and serious childhood diseases. So he did this for his birthday. Then we have Vogue France in the news because they named NewJeans NJZ. I'm sure this is being sent straight to a Hybe email. 12 K-pop groups to follow in 2025. And first up, we have NJZ x NewJeans. They talk about how the group changed their name to NJZ and that they're going to be headlining the festival Complex Con Hong Kong, which we talked about previously, where they'll have the occasion to share new music in this new emancipated era. So that's been a discussion. Brands and such calling them NJZ despite Adore asking them to continue to call them NewJeans. It's an interesting thing to see. Oh, but then we have J-Hope and IVE who are going to perform at Lollapalooza Berlin. And then Blackpink have officially announced their tour again, but this time with like places, like actual places and dates. Like it's like more tangible this time. But let's move on to the comeback section of our Kpop Shenanigans section, which is a subsection of the Kpop Shenanigans section. But anyways, so Kickflip had their comeback with Knock Knock. And NMIXX have finally announced a comeback. Let's see. Anyways, you get the gist. 17's Hoshi and Uzi have announced like a duo for a single album called Beam. Red Velvet Sergi is also set to have a debut, and Say My Name have also announced a comeback as well. But yeah, that is basically it for this episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with me, Angelina. I hope you enjoyed it as we are back to our regularly scheduled and pre-filmed content. I hope you enjoy it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have to show support for the channel. You can also become a patron or a channel member to get some bonus behind the scenes content, and of course cute Kevin emojis next to your name. But that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I was actually also live streaming on my second channel at the same time, where you could watch my dogs while I film. Beautiful exchange, if I may say so myself. But anyways, these are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.